Aviwe, good to have you, colleague. Good morning to you. But remind us, what came out of that very first report just last month?
Good morning, colleague. Well, it was an 874-page report, basically, that was broken down into 3 volumes. The first volume focused at SAA and its associate companies, SA Technical and SA Express. The second volume then looked at the Gupta media companies and how they did businesses, especially with the SOEs. Third volume then looking at the South African Revenue Services and basically public procurement. But it also detailed just broadly, Dumelo, how the ANC was financed by proceeds of crime. Taking, for example, Bosasa, where we heard how they received those government tenders, but they were the finances basically donating to the African National Congress. Not only them, even the late Johannesburg Mayor, Jeff Makubo, and the dealings with the ANC from EOH, and also in the Free State, of course, where we heard those asbestos corruption currently in court at the moment, and how blackhead consultant Edward Sodi continuously then paid donation to the African National Congress. When it looked at the South African Revenue Service, it painted a picture of how the private sector collided with the executive there, including former President Jacob Zuma, and basically collapsing SARS and making it, rendering it ineffective. How Tom Moyane was even appointed as the commissioner of SARS also raised eyebrows because it was announced by the former president before the actual appointment. Some of what those ongoings with Bain and Co. also involved when it comes to South African Revenue Service. The Gupta media companies were detailed in that report as a perfect example of how the state capture happened, basically sourcing in donations from your Eskoms, from your Transnets, basically, and funding those TNA business breakfasts that happened at the SABC and advertising even at the New Age Media newspaper. When it looked at the South African Airways, it was over 400 pages of that 874 pages that just detailed SAA alone. And of course, the main figures there were Dudu Myeni, the close associate to former President Jacob Zuma, as well as Yake Kwinana, the close associate to Myeni. In fact, there was a back and forth during the state capture proceedings where you could see the frustration from the chair, Raymond Zondo. Let's take a look at that picture.
No, but the question remains, how could you have approved a contract you did not know?
Chair, I didn't think that this is a contract. I thought we were approving only the terms and conditions, not the whole contract. The whole contract would have the whole lot of things, including the price and everything.
Ms. Kwinana.
And then the terms of conditions.
Ms. Kwinana,
Chair,
you are a chartered accountant. You are a chartered accountant.
Yeah, you could see definitely Raymond Zondo there running out of patience. But Aviwe, what is most likely rather to be in this second report?
Well, there's a lot that still needs to be unearthed when it comes to our state-owned entities. In fact, they were termed the honeypots of state capture, basically, where money was basically laundered out of them. In fact, there was a private investigator that took to the stand during the state capture proceedings that basically painted the money lost to state capture. It amounted to nearly 50 billion rands going to various SOEs, coming from those various SOEs and even government entities. Look in the Free State, just how business was done there, even this asbestos corruption, and a number of those Estina dairy farms that still haven't been divulged into. If you look in, for example, Transnet, those 1,064 locomotives that were purchased at inflated prices. Initially, Transnet budgeted 38 billion for them, but 16 billion added into that to purchase of 54 billion. So a lot that still needs to be unearthed, even when it comes to the purchase of Optimum Coal Mile Tageta, for example, where we are told that the state, the cost to the state for that was over R1 billion, basically, to the state coffers. So there's still a lot that needs to be unearthed when it comes to the state-owned entities.
All right. With that being said, though, could the president be implicated in this report?
Well, the person that fingered the president during the proceedings was Brian Molefe. You remember how he painted out, even going back to 2011 when Glencore purchased Optimum Coal Mine there, saying that they then sold 9.64% of the shares to President Ramaphosa and, in fact, made him chairperson of OCM. So it says that it raised a lot of eyebrows in terms of how then the businesses with state, having that political figure there and mentioning the political influence that could possibly have happened. In fact, Brian Molefe went on to say that Glencore tried to extort some 8 billion rand from the state. So those will be the issues that could possibly finger the president. But of course, he has said, remember in the first installment of the report, that if he is fingered in this report, in fact, he himself will do the righteous thing, suggesting that he may step down. So I guess we'll find out either today or by the end of the month, on the 28th of February, when you're expecting that final report, if the president indeed will be fingered.
And of course, we leave it there. Thank you so much. ENC's senior reporter, Aviwe Mtila.